Welcome back to the Dynamic Lifestyle Podcast, everyone. We have our amazing guest here, Dragana. Dragana, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here with both of you. You're rock stars, so thank you for having me on.
You're very welcome. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. And really quick before we get into the show, we were talking about your last name and how I didn't want to butcher it. So can you please, just tell the audience how you pronounce your last name, because I couldn't do it.
Ognenovska?
Okay. Beautiful. That's a beautiful name. And just with the accent as well, too. Imagine me saying that. There's no way that would have been possible. Okay, so we like to get our show started with giving our audience kind of, an idea of who our guest is and what your story is. So if you can tell us who Dragana is and your story, that'd be great.
Sounds good. So I started out in a completely different space than what I am now. Currently, what I do is transformational, motivational work, where I work with clients one-on-one to bring them inner peace, clarity, and allow where they operate from a place of power. So before all of this even started, I started out, my family and I came to the US when I was 8. We moved to Los Angeles right away. I played professional tennis. Right after that, I went to school. I got a degree in econ. I worked in finance for Nestle, which is a big corporation, for many years, and I co-founded a company in the music industry. So, take a lot of, professional tennis, corporate background, and then through a whole transition in my life of hitting rock bottom, I was able to get to this space, and it's been a journey of over 3 years, but I absolutely love what I do. And it's been nothing but a gift and a blessing to do what I do and work with individuals where they can operate from that space of inner peace, clarity, and then come from their power and show up as their authentic self.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I like how you pointed out that in the past you had, several different careers that you kind of went through. So my question is, what did those careers kind of teach you as far as like bringing you into doing your transformational work right now? Like what carried over?
From tennis, definitely the discipline of being dedicated, committed, making decisions. Because when you're playing tennis, you're training 6-7 days a week. And you guys know this, you're eating healthy, you're sleeping, that's your focus. It's your body, your mind, and that's all you do. So there has to be a lot of discipline for you to achieve results. And that's been taken over to this side because sometimes, especially with the type of work I do, I think there is a transition going on in society where we're starting to understand that the brain is a muscle, just like we have muscles in our body, and we're shifting our mindset where if we want results, it's like doing 20 squats. You might have to start with 2 or 3 before you can do 20. And it's the same with the way we think, the way we operate, our behavior patterns. So, getting to that place of maybe one day we'll have one positive thought, but then in 3 weeks we might have 20 that day or whatever the number is. So the discipline definitely from tennis, and as well, tennis is a very in the moment sport in the now. So if you're thinking of the point that you just lost or the point you're going to play next, you're going to lose. And I've done that plenty of times where you are not in the now and you lose. And it's kind of the same. It relates to what I do and to life in general, right? If we're not in the now, we're not seeing the opportunities, we're not acting upon them. So if we're stuck in the past, then we live in the past with regret or whatever it is. So, or in the future is dependent on what we do now in this moment. So really teaching me to always come back to the present moment. And then in terms of my corporate careers, I think I learned that that's not my path. So to start with that, I think sometimes we have to transition from there. But also, I think it taught me how to build relationships. Mm-hmm. I had amazing mentors, especially at Nestle, that it really taught me that it's really about relationship building when it comes to even being successful in the corporate world. A lot of people say politics. I don't think it's politics. I think it's really building genuine relationships with people that truly want to see you succeed and have your back.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you hit on both of those points. The first point was that, these days we're kind of starting to realize that our brain is actually a muscle. And that's so true, because that's kind of what we talk about now, is just like, you have to give yourself a mental workout, a brain workout, so it becomes quicker, sharper, more nimble. And then especially what you said about, building relationships, it's so key. It really is. I could probably do a whole podcast on that.
I completely agree with both of you. And I think there's so much alignment in terms of what I do and what you do. And they kind of go hand in hand, right? You can't even, for me, like if you're at inner peace, you also want your body to be at a certain place too. And the other way around, you might be working on your body, but you want your mind to be aligned as well.
Absolutely. So so let's kind of let's stay on that topic about inner peace. You briefly mentioned it in your story. You just mentioned it right now. So can you tell us a little more about what you mean by inner peace, and kind of like the power programs as well too that you offer and help your clients with?
Sure. So what I mean by inner peace is because I lived in so much suffering and pain. So that's why I think I come back to the inner peace so much. And it's really when you're operating from a place where you're grounded, where when you're grounded, when you're connected with yourself. So there's that place of stillness, that quiet place. So we might have a million things happening, but there's a place inside of us where we can go back to or look into, where we know that no matter whatever is happening, is we can handle it. Or we will react or be proactive versus react from a place of clarity, and our decisions we're comfortable with versus where we're reactive and everything overwhelms us. And not that, so for example, for me, I was overwhelmed yesterday and this morning. Then I said, okay, why are you overwhelmed? You're overwhelmed because you're trying to do 50 things at once. And it's like, first of all, you're overwhelmed because you're not accepting. So once you start accepting your situation for what is, you come automatically to some place of inner peace. And then it's like, okay, I'm here now. Then what am I? Accept things for what they are, because we can't change them, right? And then from there, okay, let me organize. What's more important, and operating from that place.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I think that goes a long ways, especially in today's society. I think we all need to practice that a little more about inner peace, because we all have these certain, demons or just certain, pain points from our past that can really hold on and carry over to the present and actually be almost a barrier towards our future and, prohibiting us from going forward and unlocking our true potential and gifts as people. So I think that's great. So what would you say is like one key exercise that you could give to the audience to just really grasp that inner peace going forward when they're kind of like unaware of it, or maybe they are aware of it?
Right. And a lot of times you're on point. A lot of people are unaware of it. And the people that are aware of it, they're able to, use tools. And how we become, just to go back to that, how we become aware of it is same like training your muscles, right? Someone has to show us, or we have to read it in a book, or whatever it is, where we acknowledge first and foremost in the state we currently are in. So I think the first step to really, making a change or shift, understanding you're in a state and that you'd like to shift that. And then once you come from that place, there's somewhat of a commitment there. Then you're able to really see what is happening, because you're committed to this process of finding that place of stillness. So with that, I think one exercise that really helps me is just finding a quiet place. It can be in your car, not while you're driving, or, pull to the side, or in your office, or go to the bathroom if you don't have another quiet space, and really just stopping, literally like stopping, and then focusing on, your chest area or your breath, the inhale and exhale is really important. And closing your eyes as well is very powerful, because it's somehow when you close your eyes, you connect within, and then just focusing the breath, inhale, exhale, quiets the mind.
Yeah,
I love that. Thanks for sharing that.
That's a great exercise. So I want to stick to kind of what we're talking about, like in today's society. And as you know, and we probably know ourselves too, and we're probably guilty of this, is we live in a society where, stress is very high, anxiety is very high. The mind is completely busy, overwhelmed. And we live in a state of like, worrisome. We're always constantly worrying. So why is it so important to kind of have a grasp of that? And how do we control that?
So definitely we live in a state where stress, overwhelm, I think we feel that a lot is expected of us. So we're constantly in this mode of delivering and doing. And I think one of the first things to do is you have to, first and foremost, want to find that peaceful place. You have to want to shift, because I talk to a lot of people that would love to have the benefits, but it's kind of making a decision and committing. It's the same place. If I want to lose weight or if I want to get in shape, it's a great concept, right? But I have to come to you and I have to commit to do that. So first and foremost, like committing to that. And then from there, exercises such as meditation, even something as simple as journaling, where you don't need anyone to guide you how to journal, right? Meditation, you might need someone to teach you and guide you, but journaling, take out a piece of paper and a pen and start writing stuff out. A lot, when you do that, it's so powerful. There's something very calming and peaceful about that. Another thing is something as simple as like a gratitude practice. When we are able to say what we're grateful for, even it can be something as simple as tea, my watch, my phone, my car, or my sheets, my bed. Just by saying that, we somehow there's studies shown that anxiety, depression, stress levels are reduced by only having a gratitude practice. So those are three things that we can do right away. Without the meditation, you might need guidance. However, the journaling, the gratitude, and also appreciation for yourself. So telling yourself kind things, speaking to yourself nicely. So the words we use. So the words we use really create our reality, because it's the thoughts we think that translate into the words we use. And that really creates our future.
That's great. Yeah. So I just want to kind of just recap that so that the audience really gets what you said. So you're saying like if you're like a very constant like anxiety, stress, like worrisome, overwhelmed, some good practical applications could be just to sit there and do some meditation, journaling, gratitude, and just like self-appreciation. That's what you're saying, right?
Correct.
Perfect.
Correct. If I could just give you a quick example, I have a client that I've been working with, and he wasn't able to close some of his deals, and we rephrased. We didn't do anything. It took 5 minutes. We rephrased the way he was phrasing his offer, and just with that, he was able to close that, because he wasn't even aware of the words he was using, and they were kind of on lower energy words. So when we came from a different place and we used words that have positive meanings, he was just able to close stuff out. So something as simple as, that doesn't take a lot of work, because sometimes people think, reduce stress, decrease anxiety. I'm going to have to do this. I have to go and jump on a plane, go to a meditation, go to India. It's not that complicated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said too, I think that you could use that same practice or exercise that you mentioned before, where you just go in a quiet place, just close your eyes, just connect with yourself and your energy. So I think that works too. Yeah. I'm going to start trying that.
Exactly. Awesome.
Okay, so Chris and I, for some reason, are just really interested in people's daily lives, what you guys do from your morning routine to midday to your wind down routine, and we're talking all details and specifics. So please, if you do not mind, run us through a day of what Dragana does.
Oh, wow. As an entrepreneur as well, you guys know that my day is probably like, everywhere. No, so it starts out with every morning. That's the one thing that's always the same is I wake up, I make myself a green cup of tea, and from there I meditate for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I have a daily gratitude practice. Right after, I have a daily appreciation practice as well for myself. And I ended with writing out my goals for the day, or writing out my long-term goals. Because the more I see my goals, the more I'm able to, when setbacks or anything comes about, my goal is always in the back of my mind, why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, and part of my goals are, living from a place of inner peace, being grounded, having clarity, letting go, allowing things to unfold. So not always necessarily they're, okay, do this. They're more so, some of them are, I have to attain certain goals to keep on doing what I'm doing. But others are really letting go, accepting things as they are, and allowing the universe to guide me. Because another thing, part of the inner peace that I want to mention is the reason we don't have that space is because we want to control everything. And we think we know what's best. And in reality, I think when we're open and when we show up from an open place and like, okay, I'm going to do the work, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do everything in my power. However, then I'm going to let it go, because I'm going to allow the universe to bring me the right people, the right situations for my life to unfold as it needs to. Because I firmly believe the universe or God or the light, whatever you believe in, they don't want us to come from a place of suffering. I think as humans, we condition that by adding so many layers through our conditioning before that we have to suffer. If something is easy, we question, why is it so easy? If we're able to do something, pick up anything, whatever it is, we're like, why did that happen? We question that for the most part. So taking away all those limiting beliefs as well, and that conditioning is really important for our inner peace and to allow for things to unfold.
Okay, and something you said caught my attention. You said that as human beings, we want to control everything. Why do you feel like we want to control everything?
Because it's our ego, right? It's our ego, and so we can never get rid of the ego. That's one thing. When we think we have the ego under control, it's going to come back another way to. So the ego is always there, and the ego can be healthy in some instances. However, for the most part, it's we want to come on top, or we want to show up a certain way, or we want to prove this person wrong, or we want to show that person that we can do this or not do this. It's very our ego. That's it.
Gotcha.
And that's probably a whole topic on why we operate from that space.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Eric has a hell of an ego. I'm just kidding. I'm just putting him on the spot.
It's me being older by a minute.
It's healthy to some degree.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I want to travel back, and I know that you said earlier that you hit your rock bottom point. And I like talking about this because I'm a firm believer, and one of my mentors said this, that your messes create your successes. So I am a firm believer that when you hit rock bottom, this has kind of brought you to where you're at right now, your successes, right? You're doing transformational work, you're helping people out, changing their lives. So maybe you can travel back and just kind of tell us, what was that rock bottom point, and kind of like, what did it teach you?
Well, I had many rock bottom moments. However, the one that shifted me was when I ended up once again in the emergency room diagnosed with endometriosis. And that had happened to me 10 years prior in my 20s. And exactly 10 years later, same thing. And endometriosis, usually you do surgery, and then it's 6 months of Lupron, and that's something they use for prostate cancer. And because of my healthy lifestyle, I eat really healthy. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't take pills. I mean, I don't even ibuprofen. So it was kind of confusing where it came from, right, once again. And it's, for me, I know where it came from, very stress related. So with that, and part of endometriosis is it's the number one thing for infertility. And once again, I didn't want to do the same thing. Something in me just told me that I need to shift. I didn't know what that meant, but whatever I was doing, it was a couple of things. I was overgiving. I really didn't know how to set my boundaries in life. I didn't know how to receive. So I was in a constant state of giving. My confidence, I looked very confident at all times, and people thought I had crazy confidence level, but my self-worth and my self-love were not really up there. So, a lot of, I would just put myself in situations that did not serve me over and over again. So I knew I had to shift. I was scared. I was fearful. I didn't know what that meant. And I just took it one step at a time. And one of the things I started doing is meditating, because I was taking about a Vicodin and a half. And meditation helped me ease the pain, where I stopped taking it after about a month. And journaling, and then really working with some key individuals to first and foremost, because I wanted the shift, but really looking within, what is it that I want out of life? Like really questioning, and not just questioning, taking action, even though there was so much fear within me, because it was a complete 180 shift from what I did and where I wanted to go. And I honestly didn't even know where I wanted to go the first year. I just knew it was around people, and it was inspiring, helping, healing people. So with that, I just, I had to trust the universe, and that was the biggest test. And I'm actually quite happy of where I ended up with that trust level.
Yeah.
So that was definitely one of my rock bottom moments in my life. That got me to shift this time around.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that with us. I really do.
Thank you for the question.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Dragana, let's say that you had a 30-second. You had an opportunity from YouTube. YouTube called you up and they said, Dragana, you got this once in a lifetime opportunity to have 30 seconds of a message, any message that you want to send out to the world, and they would go viral. Billions and billions of viewers would see this message. What would that message be, and why?
It would be to take the time to understand who you are, what you want, and how you want to show up in this world. And the reason behind that, I feel like we, including me in the past, we talk about how we want to help and heal and, like do good in this world. However, I think the first person we have to help, heal, forgive, love is ourselves. So I think once we put an emphasis on that and really connect, love ourselves and truth, then it's just automatically you show up in a different light and you're able to touch and help people. So really taking the time to nurture ourselves, so that would be it.
I love that. I think that's very true. I think that, if ultimately you can't really help others be happy if you're not happy yourself. So
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for the rapid dynamic questions?
Sure.
All right. Here we go. So who have been some key mentors in your life that have helped you get to kind of where you're at right now?
Let's start with Bob Gatto, Chris Kai, Simon Lavelle, and Nicola Albini.
Okay.
If you could ask one question to anybody in the world, what would that question be, and why would it be that person?
I think it would be the Dalai Lama, and it would be around suffering. Why, is there a way to end suffering? So it starts with internal suffering. And why, I just think he's it. He can help me answer my question.
That's really interesting, but why do you want the answer to that question so badly?
Because I think there's a level of suffering we create with, because of conditioning. And however, I also think that I'm wondering if there's all of it is what we create, or there's a level of real suffering. And I actually asked the same question to a Buddhist monk of 10 years, and I didn't really get clarity around it. So I feel like, okay, maybe he can help me.
Okay.
That's really interesting. Now I want to know.
Me too.
All right. So what does Dragana like to do for fun? And don't hold back on us.
Oh, I love to travel. Read, being outdoors, working out. I love food. So I love really nice restaurants. Travel and nice restaurants, I would say.
All right, really quick. So what's your favorite food? Where's the best place you traveled to? And the other one was something else you like to do. Oh, what are you reading right now?
Okay. I'm reading The Journey to the Soul. My favorite food, sushi.
Okay.
Most interesting place I've traveled to, that's hard, but I would say Ghana.
Hmm.
And then what else?
I think that's it. All three of those. You got it.
Awesome.
So you have a 8-week program that talks about inner peace and power, and it's an online program. Can you tell us a little bit more about this program and how it could help others?
Sure. So I take you through an 8-week journey of really understanding what is it that's holding us back from, love to forgiveness to judgment, and also to our thoughts, the way we're conditioned. So really looking within at all aspects, how we can show up as our authentic self and what we have to do to get to there. So how it can benefit people. Those are the things I did to transform and to come into this space I'm currently in. And those are the same tactics I use with my clients. So so far it's been amazing. I've seen so many transformations. And the thing is, it doesn't take a lot of time. It can happen within, if something clicks, it can happen within a minute, a second. It's just that one thing has to click for you. So hopefully through that program, and so far with the clients I've worked with, everyone has had a shift in some way or another. And it's really understanding. One key thing is when you go into something like what do you want to shift, and being super clear about that as well.
That sounds amazing.
Committing and deciding. I'm big on commitment. Even with all of my clients, unless they're committed at a 10, I will not work with them, because unless you're, and you guys know this, unless you're committed and dedicated, you're not going to get results. This is not, this is work. This is not eating sushi at Matsuhisa. This is like actual work. So you have to be willing to do it. So I have a big thing about commitment.
I like that. And I agree. I respect that. I think that if you're not fully committed 100%, then you're not going to want that change.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what are you most grateful for and why?
Oh, wow. I'm grateful for courage. So something that I admire is courage. The courage to keep on going even when, I do have a rock bottom moment, or where I do find myself in a place where I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But really the courage is something that keeps me going in terms of something about myself. But I'm just grateful. Honestly, one thing I have to say I'm really, really grateful for is that my parents, my father and my mother, came to the U.S. because of that. I come from a war-torn country, ex-Yugoslavia. So because of that, I've been given so many opportunities, and especially as a woman. And I work with, I love like Asia, Africa, and the developing world, and I do stuff with charities there. And especially girls, to see what some of the girls have to go through I've been given a gift, and actually I have chills as I'm speaking about this. I've been given a gift to be able to be in this position, to do what I'm doing just because of that. So I'm really, really grateful for being, where I currently am in my life, and for my parents taking that and, their first generation, so struggling so that we, including my brother and I, can have this opportunity. Yeah.
It's amazing.
In this country.
Love it. Love it. So, Dragana, before we ask the final question that we ask all of our, people that we have on the podcast, I want to take a moment, and I know this is coming from Chris as well, too, just to acknowledge you for a few things. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, sharing your wisdom and sharing your gift with us and our audience. It's really, really amazing stuff that we talked about today. The second thing is I just wanted to acknowledge you for your growth and your courage. I've seen you just grow as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. It's really been awesome to see you grow. And I know we've only met a couple times in person at a couple little events in LA, but I know we have something there where we're going to, collaborate more going forward. I can see us doing a lot of great things. And yeah, I just want to wish you the best of luck going forward, and just keep your foot on that gas pedal.
Thank you. And I want to take this time to acknowledge you too. I think you guys are amazing. Whoever's working with you, they are lucky. And you, both of you, not only, I know that you're able to deliver in terms of the actual physical stuff, but as well as individuals, you truly care. And I've seen that on countless of times we communicated. You've helped me out in so many different ways. So whoever's listening, these are the guys, because they will take care of you all around. They care about your mind, your body, and your soul. It's not just a one shot deal here. So I want to acknowledge you for that, because you are making the world a better place through that. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. I was so excited, and I'm so excited to be on the show.
You're very welcome. Thanks. That means a lot, all those words you said.
So
really
much.
Appreciate that. So the last question is, what is your definition of living a dynamic lifestyle?
Being balanced in terms of taking care of all three things: mind, body, and soul. And dynamic, it's whatever it means to you. For me, it means living my truth, showing up as my authentic self. So whatever that means to you.
Mind, body, and soul. Got it. Love it.
All right. So where can all of our listeners go and follow, what you're doing and connect with you a little bit more?
Sure. So I'm rebranding a few things. So the best place to do it now is my Facebook, which is Facebook and my name, Dragana. And as well, we're rebranding from divinemeditation.com. However, you can put in your email address currently there, and I send a lot of updates. We have a bunch of events, free information, content. So feel free to put your email at divinemeditation.com, and I'll start sending over some really cool stuff. And I'm coming out with an ebook. It's that's going to be free. So I'm more than happy to share that with all of you.
Perfect. So we'll have all that in the show notes, especially the ebook and the 8-week program. So Dragana, again, thank you so much for coming on our show. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
Okay.
All right. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys, for tuning into our video. We really, really appreciate it.
And before you guys go, make sure to subscribe below to our newsletter so you guys can get our free and new book, The 4 Pillars of Becoming Dynamic Within Fitness.